Hey, welcome back once again, Knicks fans. I appreciate you guys checking out the video. Before we get right into it, please like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you can get notified every time I'm dropping a video. I also would like for you guys to comment below. I really want to try to get more engagement on this site, and anything you guys are willing to do will be more than appreciated. Now let's jump right into it. The New York Knicks have the 11th pick. And I did drop a video before where I talked about the possible players that they might pick at the what they might do with the 11th pick and who they might pick there with the 11th pick. And it didn't include Johnny Davis. I spoke briefly about Johnny Davis, but after I spoke briefly about him, I decided to, I need to actually, look at his film, look in his videos, and find out more about this kid to see, how good he really is, to see if he's really good or if he could be an option for the New York Knicks at the 11th pick. Man, I'll tell you, like after I looked at that his film, looked at some of the draft analysis on him, if he's there at the 11th pick, the New York Knicks needs to take him. In my opinion, um, he is debatable who could be the best out of all the wings. I don't think there's a clear cut best wing in this draft, especially if you're talking about like when you include Johnny Davis, Ivy, Benedict Mathurin. I'm not sure who else I'm missing. Griffin. I really don't think those guys are really much better than Johnny Davis, you know? And Johnny Davis is a complete player too. That's the other part. He's got it on defense, very good defender, very effective defender, meaning he holds his opponents to very poor shooting percentages. Usually he holds them to a lower field goal percentage that he shoots, which is really good. So that means he's winning. Not only does he win his matchups from the efficiency standpoint, being able to shoot a higher percentage than his opponent does, at the same time, he actually, his production is there. He's averaging like almost 20 points a game, right? And so he's more efficient than his opponent. And on top of that, he's also outproducing his opponents every game. And so he's done that basically every game this year. And he's proven he can do that. He carried the team on his shoulders, which is really good. So he's a great defender, like I said. The other thing, he's got a lot of great packages on the offensive end. He can attack the paint. When he attacks the paint, he can finish with the right hand, left hand. It's very fluid. It's not mechanic like RJ Barrett was early in his career, the first couple of seasons. Only this year, RJ Barrett has started to look a little more fluid with his movements, especially in the lane. He's not looking as mechanic as he did the first couple of years. But RJ Barrett, he's still kind of mechanic, sometimes. And so, but Johnny Davis is just like he just got it. He has it. It feels like it kind of comes a little easy to him, especially being able to get to the paint. Also, the other thing I really like about him, he can shoot off the dribble from the mid range. Boy, that is so needed on his team. We don't have anyone who could shoot off the dribble from the mid range like this kid does. And so that's a huge bonus. The only downside with Johnny Davis right now is his 3-point shooting this year. It was only like barely 31%. He did shoot 39% his freshman year. And his free throw percentage is about almost 80%. I think it's like 79, over 79%. It's about almost 80. And so I think with a lot of work, he can improve that 3-point shooting. It could be decent. I think you can get it to NBA average, and it'll be good enough for him to be able to to really be able to do whatever he wants. If he improves that 3-point percentage, I think it's game over. Honestly, even the fact that he has a mid-range right now, he's going to be a very difficult handle for anyone at the next level, right? And so that's why I'm thinking if the New York Knicks, if he's there at the 11th pick, the New York Knicks, I think, is going to take him. And actually, because of that, if he does stay this low, right, and he's available to the Knicks at the 11th pick, I think the New York Knicks are going to be less likely to trade up. The only way I see them trading up is if they're able to, number one, keep their 11th pick maybe, and then also, like, let's say they exchange like Julius Randle for a couple of expiring contracts, and then in return they get let's say Portland's 7th pick, and then they get to keep the 11th pick. I can see that possibly happening. However, if it's going to cost the Knicks too much, given the track record for this team, for this team president Leon Rose, he doesn't like to overpay for anything, right? He's very, he's very frugal. He takes his time, and they build very methodical and very slowly, and so they never overpay. So I just don't see them um, basically paying too much for that seventh pick, especially if Johnny Davis is going to be sitting there. Funny enough, after I looked at the video a couple of weeks ago, I'm like, man, this kid is really good. And I'm thinking, like, obviously, if I'm seeing a video of this kid, seeing how good he is, and for some reason they still had him, like, I think on some mock drafts they had him at 14, but I've seen other mock drafts now where he's like at 8th or 7th, right? Where he's really moved up the board. And so, I'm not too surprised by that because if I'm seeing it, other people are going to see it. And so there's a possibility he moves up. And then if that's the case, if all the good wings actually end up moving up in the draft, and then let's say we're left with like, let's say Sohan and like, and like let's say Sohan is actually, I think, seemed like in one of the mocks I saw him drop down to like 16 maybe. But if all the good wings are gone, right, all the really good talented wings are gone, then I think at that point the Knicks may try to find a way to move up. They may, and they may possibly overpay to move up and get, and get into that seventh slot so they can get, a good wing. And the New York Knicks needs a lot of depth on a wing, honestly. We have, we do have Cam Reddish, but he's pretty injury prone, and so you kind of need to have at least a backup plan for that, or that or maybe Cam Reddish could be a backup plan. However, I do believe in Cam Reddish. I think he's a very talented player, and I have a feeling if he can stay healthy with the New York Knicks, the way they approach to development with the kids in the summer. Actually, I'm not even sure exactly what their approach to development is. All I know, they have one and they're committed to it, right? So I don't know how good it is, but I know they have one. They're committed to it, and so because they that is the case, I think there's a good chance Cam Reddish might actually be a very good player in this league, especially if the Knicks keep him. And so, but that said, we still do need some depth on the wing. Honestly, Grimes, I just don't, given the way Grimes played last year, I think we kind of tend to overrate him because he's our draft pick and he did some good things. He had that one game where he dropped 27 points. But honestly, Johnny Davis is much better than Grimes. He's way better than Grimes, in my opinion. It's not even close, And he's a better defender. He's a better offensive player. He can go off the dribble, right? Make plays for others, finish in the paint, right? Shoot off the dribble from the mid-range. The only thing Grimes had that Johnny Davis doesn't have is the three-point shot. But, honestly, it hasn't done Grimes that much good because if you look at his production per minute, I mean, it's not all that great. If you look at his production for Grimes is not really there. His defense is a little overrated. I love Grimes, so I'm not hating on him. I think he's going to still be a very good player with a lot of work, but he's just not there yet. He's not a starting caliber two guard. And so if we pick Johnny Davis, you definitely got to start him at the two guard. Grimes is going to come off the bench. And honestly, with all those three guys, with like the wings that we have, Grimes actually has the lowest ceiling, in my opinion, out of all the wings that we have, right? He can be a very good player, but you got to think, you got Cam Reddish, and if you get Johnny Davis and then you got Barrett, I mean, like Grimes is, in my opinion, talent-wise, he's the least talented out of those four, right? And so I definitely don't see Grimes, if we get Johnny Davis, I don't see Grimes starting, if the coach starts him, whatever, that's Thibodeau, that's just how he is. And, the coach loves him. Like I said, last year, Grimes, he got more minutes than Obi Toppin, and yet his production, Obi Toppin had more production and had higher, field goal percentage than he did. And he was more efficient as well. And that's with way less minutes than Grimes did. I mean, we kind of forget that Grimes for a while, was consistently getting 20, 25 minutes a game, where Obi Toppin was getting like 8 to 10 minutes a game, a lot of times. And then sometimes you may get 15 minutes a game. But, so I just think that, Grimes just isn't there yet. He could get there, but he's not there yet. He's not a starting caliber two guard. So if we pick Johnny Davis, you got to slot him in there. But going back to like the this mock draft, this really complicates things. The fact that there's a possibility that Johnny Davis is moving up in the board, it just really complicates things because then now the New York Knicks obviously are gonna have to, if all the good wings move up, like I said before, is like, and he moves up on the draft, and he's not gonna fall to us, then the Knicks may have to find a way to move up. You know, it's like they're just so close. They're almost there. I mean, they just got to go out and get one of these guys. They got to do it. You know, you got to sacrifice one of those later picks. Obviously, you look at the Dallas Mavericks. Honestly, you know, I thought basically Doncic was going to at least get hurt one of these years, right? Especially you look at his body type. He doesn't take very good care of his body. At least doesn't look like he takes great care of his body. He's like kind of on the flabby side, a little overweight, and so I thought he was going to get injured, especially given his early injury history. I thought he was going to get injured one of these years, and then Mavs will have a terrible season, and then we'll have a nice draft pick from the Mavs. But it doesn't look like that's going to happen. So the New York Knicks should just try to maybe trade that Mavs pick to move up in this draft and do what they have to do, right? That's kind of expensive, and like I said, the front office, they don't like to overpay. But I don't know. I think this is one of those drafts. I think it's people are underrating the wings in his draft, especially Davis, Benedict Mathurin, and those guys, and Ivy. And so I really do think that, like, you know, I just think they should move up to get this guy if they can. And it's gonna be difficult, but we'll see. But you know, let me know what you guys think. You know, again, please like and subscribe. Comment below. What do you guys think about this? What do you guys think about Johnny Davis? You know, what do you think about him? Do you think the New York Knicks should pick him if he's there at the 11th pick? If he moves up in the draft, do you guys think they should basically move up, be aggressive to try to get this kid? I mean, for me, I think this kid is the one, and I hope the New York Knicks get him. He's not a perfect player, however, he's pretty dang close. I think his weakness, that 3-point shot, I think that's something they can really improve, and I really hope, I'm really hope nobody, he really doesn't move up. I really do hope he stays down, like around the this 11, 12 pick, so we can pick him up. But let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys. Have a good night.